You're listening to Don't IEP Alone with special education advocate Lisa Lightner. For more information about Lisa, the IEP Toolkit, and more ways we can help you in your process, go to adayinourshoes.com. Now back to the show with your host, Lisa.
Good morning or afternoon, evening, whenever you're listening to this podcast. I am Lisa Lightner from A Day in Our Shoes and Don't IEP Alone. And my Don't IEP Alone podcast is my simple little podcast about IEPs. No frills, no BS, just information that you need to be a better advocate. I apologize, first of all, once again, I don't have many new episodes up recently. That is due to things are just kind of crazy out there. I think it has to do with schools being under-resourced and understaffed. I don't know, but I've had a manifestation determination hearing once a week for the past like 5-6 weeks, something like that. It's just crazy out there. It is the time of the year where the honeymoon's over, right? Nobody's putting on their honeymoon face, I guess, as you would say, and stressors start to pile up, incidents start to pile up. So maybe where, a child got suspended for 1 day or 2 days, now as we head into mid-November, they are hitting those 10 and 15-day thresholds. And so these manifestation determination hearings happen. The other thing I want to mention, and we talked about this in my online training last week. If you're not in it, you definitely want to check it out. Don'tIEPalone.academy. But in IDEA, and I don't have the words in front of me. I don't have IDEA memorized, much as people might think I do, but I don't. In IDEA, regarding manifestation determination hearings, there is something in there, and again, I don't know the exact wording, but it's something about, or when a pattern is starting to develop. So unfortunately, like much of IDEA's language, that is pretty vague. It's a gray area, right? Like who determines what is a pattern? Is it 2? Is it 8? Excuse me. Clearly, IDEA has decided that 10 is a pattern. But it has always been my practice as an advocate with the clients that I have that even after the first incident, we request a manifestation determination hearing. Now, we aren't always granted it on the first offense, and schools will stand on that language of, hey, IDEA says 10, 15 days, whatever. But it leaves the door open, and it says, or when a pattern is developing. Now, chances are, if the child was suspended and say it was their first suspension, that wasn't the first incident, right? Like the first few incidents, there were probably warnings, there were probably emails to the parent, phone calls to the parent, maybe notes sent home. So I would definitely, that's just one more reason why you have to document everything, because then when they do get that first suspension, well, that's a pattern, right? Because you can say, well, sure, this is the first suspension, but if we look back over early November and even back to October, you called me on this date, you called me on this date, you sent home a note on this date and said he was doing this. And use those words. I believe a pattern is developing, and I want to revisit this as a team. Okay. The other thing is that well, you should at least spend 10 to 15 minutes a week visiting your IEP, looking over your notes, keeping notes, documenting things like that. But look at your IEP, and in particular, your de-escalation plan for when your child is in a crisis. If there isn't one and your child needs one, then I would definitely ask for a meeting to get one. But the other thing is that you definitely want to make sure that the IEP is being followed. And if the tools are in place in the IEP for your child to be adequately supported and appropriately supported so that these incidents won't occur, if there are such tools, they're just not happening. I would push for IEP implementation before I would push for an FBA. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I have one client, and it's in their plan that when the child starts to get frustrated and overwhelmed, unsettled, things like that, that you're just supposed to leave him alone. Give him some space, give him some time to regroup, to process, to clear his head, and not do other things. Unfortunately, the suspension that we're going to be talking about this week, the exact opposite happened. And instead of the plan being followed and leaving him alone, giving him some space, the person, the adult in charge, antagonized him and pushed and pushed and pushed and put more demands on him, more demands, more demands. And oh, well, what do you know? We all have our breaking point, and he ended up cursing at her. So I'm not about not holding people accountable to their behavior, but we all have our breaking points. And the bottom line is that had the IEP been followed, maybe this wouldn't have happened, because the IEP was not being followed. This adult in charge at the moment was basically doing the exact opposite of what this child's de-escalation plan calls for. And I don't know why you expect a different result if if that's what happens, right? So anyway, so that's what I'm talking about when I say, like, in a situation like that, teams may rush to edit, update, do a new FBA, things like that. And it's like, this one's pretty simple. The tools and the things that the child needs are in place. It just wasn't being followed. Yeah. So the other thing is that, please, if your child is trending right now, and it seems like so many of them are, if your child is trending toward more behaviors right now, look at the IEP to make sure it's being followed, and think about what, oh, sorry. It's just a gnat. Sorry, I thought it was something. It scared me, but it's just a gnat. Think about what could be put in place. You don't necessarily need to reconvene the whole team. That's sometimes what stresses schools out, is just the thought of trying to organize an IEP meeting at this time. But if you know of a few simple accommodations or strategies that might help your child, you could ask for that in a no-meet addendum. Okay, so if these incidents are happening to you, request everything, incident reports, everything. Start collecting your data, look at your procedural safeguards. I know that the state of Pennsylvania has a very nice worksheet. I have it on my website at adayinourshoes.com. I will put it in the show notes, but they have a very nice manifestation determination worksheet. I don't know if other states have them or not, but basically when you go to a manifestation determination hearing, there's two main questions that the team answers. And one is, was this behavior a manifestation of the child's disability? And then the second one is, was this behavior a result of the IEP not being implemented? Now, over 15 years, I've been very successful with my clients at getting the team to agree yes on that first question. Was this behavior a manifestation of disability? That second one, was this behavior a result of the IEP not being implemented? That's a little bit tougher to get them to agree to, because essentially you're getting them to write down on paper, on official IEP documents, that no, they weren't following the IEP. However, I have gotten yes on that. And unfortunately, the times I haven't, it is more of like a he said, she said. And that's what I think is going to happen this week with this upcoming hearing. Child is telling me that he was antagonized and that the plan wasn't being followed. I believe him. I also believe that adult who is in charge is going to say, oh no, that's not what I did. And we don't believe children in this country as a general rule. And we certainly don't believe teenagers. And anyway, I could rant about that for days. But sometimes you can get it documented that the IEP wasn't being followed. But that is also why why I'm such a stickler about getting all the specifics in your IEP. So if you have one coming up, again, there's information on my site. You need to prepare that worksheet. You need to research. I have all the steps on how to prepare for a manifestation determination hearing because, again, I'm having one a week as an advocate, which is kind of crazy. And also I'm hearing from other advocates that they're having a lot. My friend Nicole, who's down in Texas, and the last time we chatted, she said, yeah, I just had 2. I don't know what's going on out there. I think people are just overwhelmed and stressed and sad and angry. Because it's tough. A lot of families are struggling right now. The other thing I just want to announce before I sign off for today is that on my homepage at dayinourshoes.com, I have put up, if you scroll down, midway, if you want to hire me for a consult, I have opened up some days and times to do that. I cannot attend meetings with people. I cannot attend manifestation determination hearings with people, unfortunately, except my local people. But I can help you prepare for it. And I have 3 different packages there as far as consultations and what I help you prepare. So if that is happening, I can help you, guide you along, do a record review, things like that. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. I hope to get some other new episodes up. And as always, tune into adayinourshoes.com or Don't IEP Alone.com for whatever you need for your IEP.
Thank you for listening to Don't IEP Alone with Special Education Advocate Lisa Lightner. We're so glad you've joined us and would love to connect with you outside of the show. For more information about Lisa, the IEP Toolkit, and more ways we can help you in your process, go to adayinourshoes.com. From self-care tips to common IEP mistakes, there's even more to explore. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast and subscribe to never miss an episode. Until next time, don't IEP alone, and you don't have to.